Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Season Keepers, the show where the only two people we recommend keeping for the season is us. My name's Matt, aka Clean Sheet Wipeout.
My name's James, aka FPL Drug.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good man.
Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. Obviously we got to see each other the weekend, didn't we? You actually came down south.
Yeah, we did. We both went to the Saints Burnley game.
Yeah,
Much better game than expected, actually.
it
But
was.
we'll
Yeah,
come on to that later.
yeah. We'll touch on that. There's quite a few games with a lot of goals, so we better get stuck in. And first things first, James. The Friday night game: Arsenal 3, Aston Villa 1.
Yeah, another clean sheet wipeout for me and my Arsenal defenders. A
Yeah.
bit frustrating. Didn't actually start with Ben White, but he came on. And yeah, so have the double up with him and Ramsdale.
Mm.
Not an ideal couple of weeks for me. But yeah, Villa are capable. Danny Ings has maybe been a little bit disappointing recently.
Agreed. Yeah, I think to be fair, Villa were disappointing in that first half, weren't they? They were terrible. Arsenal just got right at them, tore them apart for what 60 minutes. I know they made the Villa made the tactical switch at half time, basically moving away from that back three, which just wasn't working for them. And they looked a lot better in the second half, to be fair. But yeah, Arsenal were dominant and really put Villa to the sword. It could have been a lot more had it not been for Martinez. I think he made 6 saves in the game. So yeah, it was certainly one for anybody that's got the likes of Smith Rowe, who has done exceptionally well, obviously in that game and back when they played Spurs in game week 6. So anybody that's on him, they've capitalised on a 13-pointer there.
Yeah, a lot of people benched him, which is unfortunate because
Yeah,
I think a lot of defenders had good game weeks, good fixtures this week. So I can understand why they've done it,
yeah.
but it's still a bit painful.
Agreed. Yeah, I seen a few get him off the bench after the odd player went missing at the weekend, but yeah, quite a lot had him second sub and he didn't quite make it. So that's incredibly unfortunate. But he's only what 5.5 million in the game. So for those that are still got the wild card in hand or looking to maybe make a cheap transfer away from maybe a Rafinha if we find out he's injured, I think Smith Rowe could be a viable option, especially given they still play Watford and Newcastle in the next 4 games. Then it gets a little bit tough.
Yeah, very cheap.
All right, should we move on then to a game that we both sat and watched in the pub, and I think it's probably worth tucking into, particularly those, unfortunately, that went Kai Havertz. Sorry, guys. It was Chelsea 7, Norwich 0.
Yeah, it's I feel like for most of us, it's a case of what could have been.
Yeah.
With Lukaku, obviously, it's a real shame that he's missed out this fixture because that's what we were holding him for, and ultimately, most of us have moved him on, and a lot of people, obviously, as you say, went Havertz,
Yeah,
and yeah, the logic was there.
it was.
Maybe it got a little bit hyped up too much in the community. Sort of got carried away with ourselves. Everyone sort of group thinks, so to speak. But yeah, you got to consider yourselves unlucky to not get anything out of 7 goals.
Yeah, big time.
Literally the only player to not get some form of return.
Yeah, obviously neither me nor you went Kai Havertz in FPL. I didn't go there because I've made the decision this season at the moment not to take a hit. Now, I mean, that could change this week. I've got a couple of injuries, but I haven't taken a -4 at all this season.
Wow.
And because of Lukaku's injury, I thought, well, I can't have him just sat on the bench. So I brought in Harry Kane, which meant that, yes, I had the money still in the squad to go to a Havertz if I wanted to jump there. But I just didn't want to take the hit for him, even though I was worried. Because genuinely, I mean, yeah, like you said, it went big in the community, didn't it? And I think he is only 7.5% owned in the game, I still think. So the majority didn't go there, but it felt like everybody within the FPL community did. And the decision was the right one. Like, for instance, if Lukaku was fit, James, would you have captained him over Salah?
Yes.
Yeah, so would I. 100%. Like this fixture was the one that we were targeting, wasn't it? So
It was, yeah.
we've effectively got lucky by the fact that Lukaku's been out. Who's to say he wouldn't have, scored a couple of goals in this game or whatnot, but because of that, we've defaulted to going to Salah. We've had to. But yeah, for Havertz, I think it was genuinely the right decision. And it's just a terrible outcome, especially when you look at the goals and assists there. I mean, even Loftus-Cheek, when he came on, got himself an assist. It's so unlucky. Mason Mount, I think he's worth discussing, James.
Yeah, big surprise. Obviously a hat trick
Yeah.
and an assist. Phenomenal game from him. He's not really had much minutes this season.
No,
and that's the reason why we haven't gone there, I think, because his price is good. It's 7.5.
Yep.
There is just the question mark around his minutes, but I'd imagine after that performance, he should feature more often.
Has to, surely. I mean, like you said there with the minutes, from game week 4 to game week 8, he played 95 minutes across 5 game weeks. And then obviously gets 90 minutes against Norwich, 3 goals and an assist, man of the match. It's crazy. Like, I completely ignored Mason Mount solely because, his minutes seemed really reduced. Yes, he was playing Champions League football, but he wasn't getting game time in the Prem. And then, he just looked to slot right in there and probably benefited by the fact that obviously both Werner and Lukaku are out. Meant he could get a bit more forward. And clearly he's got the goods there. It was an unbelievable performance.
Yeah, I think he's got to stay in that team even when the likes of Lukaku, Werner come back.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess the only other thing worth talking about is the fact that Ben Chilwell once again got himself a goal. Is it 4 games in a row? 3 in the Prem, 1 in the Champions League, I think, that he scored.
Yeah, ridiculous. Picking up where Alonso left off, and I missed out on making the move from Christensen to Chilwell this week by 0.1 million. I could have done it, but then Chilwell rose, so I don't have enough now. But very good player to get in.
Yeah.
No sign of Alonso coming back into the team. Just a great asset to have.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we're recording before the Carabao Cup games are this week, so I think if Alonso plays against Saints this evening, I think Chilwell's probably nailed for that Newcastle fixture. And I'm definitely considering bringing Chilwell in for Robertson this weekend because I don't particularly want to hold the Liverpool double up moving forward. And I think Chilwell's probably more explosive than Robbo this season. So, that might be the move that I make, dependent on Rafinha's injury.
Special.
Right, jumping on to a game in which Palace dominated but just couldn't get the win. It was Crystal Palace 1, Newcastle 1.
Yeah, another goal from Benteke. Another goal for Callum Wilson as well. Two strikers that have been doing relatively well recently. Callum Wilson's only 7.3 million as well, which is pretty damn cheap.
Yep.
And after Chelsea in the next fixture, their run's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
Yeah, the toughest fixture being Arsenal. They've got like Brighton, Brentford, Norwich, Burnley. It's a very good run, particularly 14 and 15, which is Norwich and Burnley. Very, 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 very impressive him. And Mitchell got an assist. He's cheap. He's cheap.
4.5 million.
4.5. If Palace was to start keeping clean sheets, I mean, they've been playing some really good football, but whether we can try and translate that to clean sheets, we've sort of not seen yet under Vieira. But after City, the next game, their fixtures get a little bit better.
Yeah, their fixtures, in fairness, look good probably up until the new year, which is, unlike Newcastle, for instance, you mentioned that they've got a reasonable run after Chelsea up until, the beginning of December. I wouldn't want to be a Newcastle fan over Christmas, though, because you've then got Leicester, Liverpool, Man City, Man United. Well, we'll talk about them later. And Everton, again, we'll talk about them later. So maybe the last two, but it's a sea of red in terms of the ticker over Christmas. So come that January transfer window, I think Newcastle could potentially be in trouble. Jumping on then to that Everton game. And what started so well for Everton, they were 2-1 up with 20 minutes to go. And then Watford just exploded. It was Everton 2, Watford 5.
Yeah, I thought I heard it wrong. At St Mary's, they announced the full-time score, and I was a bit confused. I also expected Salah to feature heavily in the goals scored and
Yeah,
assists.
and he got subbed instead, didn't he?
Yeah, he got nothing really. They kind of came alive after a substitution. Fair play to Josh King. He's shown Everton what he can do if given a start,
Yeah, he loved that.
because they never started him, and it was a great hat trick and very very emphatic finishes.
Yeah,
So just an amazing away day, I imagine, for Watford fans as well.
God, yeah.
Positive signs now for under Ranieri after what was a quite a sort of deflating opening game.
Yeah, for
But
sure. And the fact that I almost think Ranieri's been thrown in at this stage, and I can't imagine the owners were expecting results given the fixtures, because obviously they lost to Liverpool heavily. They've gone away to Everton. I can't imagine they expected to go there and win 5-2, but they have. They've obviously got Saints afterwards, and then it's Arsenal, United, Leicester, Chelsea, Man City. So it's a real tough run of games before it then turns, and they've probably got a good 8 fixtures. But I think he's probably been given this time to see which players want to stand up and fight, because it is a tough run of games. And in that moment, yes, you might expect to go there and lose, but you want to at least put in a performance. And when you've got Josh King turning up and scoring a hat trick, surely it's a positive.
oh, it's a huge positive, and I'm a little bit fearful for Saints actually playing Watford next. I feel like they're definitely going to be on a high after this result, and I'm actually
Yeah.
contemplating playing Foster over Ramsdale, because
Okay.
obviously Arsenal play Leicester,
Yeah.
but Watford play Saints. So I feel like of the two keepers, maybe Foster's more likely to keep a clean sheet.
Quite possibly. In fairness, like obviously, yes, Saints can score goals, but I think Leicester can too. And it's a matter of, which one can maybe make the most saves potentially. But I think, yeah, given it's away, Watford are at home, Saints are going away. I think it might be a tough day for us. So yeah, very much. If Foster's likely to start again, which I think he probably is, yeah, probably the more odds-on keeper to keep a clean sheet there. It would be brave to bench Ramsdale, but I think it's definitely worthy. As for Everton, they're in trouble at the moment, aren't they? Obviously, they've got no DCL. Decore is a big miss. And defensively, in that last 20 minutes, they just looked all over the shop.
Yes, they did. I think they've always sort of the last few seasons really been a better side attacking wise than they have been at the back. They've never really gone on a run of keeping clean sheets, um, which is something that's sort of plagued them. But I think, yeah, they're definitely going to be a bit stronger in the coming weeks now that they've got Richarlison back. I think he's been a big miss, and
Yeah.
I think DCL's still some way off. But
Yeah, I think he got I think he had a setback in training. So
yeah, he did. So maybe I'd maybe hold off until he comes back, for them to be firing on all cylinders. But Richarlison came on, scored.
yeah,
It's decent enough from him.
yeah, good goal, very good goal. All right, moving on then to the next fixture, and I think Leeds are struggling at the moment, aren't they? It was Leeds 1, Wolves 1.
Yeah, they are, and the sort of main takeaway in terms of FPL is obviously the injury of Rafinha. Obviously he's been on social media saying he's okay, but there's still a bit of a question mark over
Yeah,
to as to whether he plays the next game in terms of the Premier League anyway.
it was really cryptic, wasn't it? It was like it's not serious. I'll be back soon. Like if you were
Yeah,
back,
soon.
if you were
Couple of
back
weeks, month.
exactly. What does that mean? Like if you were back this weekend, surely he'd say I'll be back next game or I'll be back next week. But to say
Yeah.
back soon, it almost feels like there is a little bit of damage there, and it could be a 2 week, 4 weeks. We don't know, but obviously prior to this recording, we haven't heard anything back from Bielsa other than what we've seen on social media. So it's obviously worth keeping an eye on. I can't imagine he features against Arsenal tonight, in the Carabao Cup, but obviously
No, definitely not.
we'll keep an eye. But yeah, I think maybe this weekend, hopefully, well, to be fair, Bielsa is normally really good in press conferences. He'll let us know who isn't available. So fingers crossed we get some news before the deadline.
Yeah, we need it. He's quite heavily owned. On the Wolves side of things, we've got another goal from for Wang.
Yeah,
Um, he's been doing the business.
he has.
Very cheap forward in the game as well. He's a 5.7 million. Fixtures look okay. Everton at home, Palace away,
Yep.
Norwich and Burnley within the next five. It's if you're thinking of punting on him now, maybe the time.
Yeah. I think that they're another one of those teams, aren't they, where their fixtures look good until the beginning of December, and then it turns red all the way through till New Year. So yeah, if you're kind of on Huang now, I think he's definitely worth keeping for the next 4 or 5 games, and then it might be a case of looking to move elsewhere because you've then got Liverpool, City, Brighton, Chelsea. You've got Watford thrown in there, but then you've got the Arsenal fixture. I think it's a tough run of games, but there are other options in and around his price point. At the moment, you've got the likes of Brozier, which we'll come on to, and it's not like you're stuck now. Whereas maybe in past seasons, if you did have a forward that is 5.7 million or whatnot, you might really struggle to move him on. But I think with the real lack of premiums this season, through injury and Salah probably being the mainstay in most people's teams, I think a lot of us are holding money in the bank, and that might give you the opportunity to move off of someone like Wang.
Exactly.
The other option there would be obviously Jimenez. Once again, get an assist for her Wang. Looking quite good, to be fair. He's 7.5% owned. He's got 1 goal, 3 assists to his name so far this season. But yeah, I think whilst Wang's banging, you'd probably go there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would. I think he's not worth the extra 2 million. I don't think.
Do you own Wolves defenders at all?
Not in this.
I was going to say those that did must have been fuming, given it was a 94th minute penalty for
Mm.
Leeds. That's
Yeah,
incredibly
no,
unfortunate.
definitely, yeah. I hate those.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was even at the Saints game they announced it was a Wolves 1-0, didn't they? And then they corrected it after Leeds had scored their penalty.
Yeah, they did.
All right, and then talking about that Saints game, a game that we were both at, it was Southampton 2, Burnley 2.
Yep, a great game, entertainment wise. Maybe fans of that don't support these teams wouldn't have expected that.
Mm,
But it was a great game,
it
and
was.
Cornet opened the scoring, decent header,
Yeah.
a good finish. Looked a good player throughout the game actually. Did Cornet. Then obviously we had to get back into it. Livramento, wow, I can't believe he's still only owned by 17% of the game
Oh, I
because
know.
he's
Mad.
so cheap. He's bombing forward so much. I'm surprised he's actually only got an assist and obviously scored in this game.
Yeah.
Brilliant finish.
And
I love the man.
well, it wasn't long. Obviously, he got his goal, but that wasn't long after he hit the post. So, I mean, he could have scored before that. And I think both of us had our heads in our hands when, we saw it kind of rebound out. But yeah, for him to then get that headed goal from, I think it was Redmond's corner, 5 minutes later, absolutely buzzing. And then the second half, obviously, Brozier, or however you want to pronounce his name, when he runs through, for that Burnley defence, I thought, well, they pushed him wide. That's it. The chance is gone. And he still smashed it bottom corner, didn't he? It was a brilliant finish. And given he's 5 million, 1.3% owned, I genuinely think that he probably keeps his place again because he's doing nothing to prove to Hasenhüttl that he shouldn't be on that pitch. His strength, his aerial ability, his pace for like a big guy, it's brilliant. And given it's 2 goals in 2 games, surely you don't drop him before Watford.
I wouldn't think so. He's been brilliant the last 2 games, and he's flagged for an ankle injury, but I think he should be okay to play by next week, but over the weekend. But obviously, check on the press conferences on a Friday. check Ben Dinnery's account.
Yeah, because he
But
didn't.
he's a good player, so I think it's definitely worth a punt at his price as well.
Yeah, well, he didn't get treatment on the pitch, did he? It was he took a couple of knocks. I think he got a knock once again after scoring his goal, which he did in the game previous. But he walked around the pitch. You know, he was hobbling a little bit, but had he been injured, I think he would have been treated and taken off earlier than that. He was just subbed because we were chasing the game, and I think with Brogier's performance, and I think the fact that Redmond seems to fit well alongside him, you know, he provides a bit of pace, someone that can chase the ball. I wouldn't be surprised to see Adam Armstrong and Che Adams on the bench again. And for those holding Adam Armstrong, I think it's a tough one to take because he started the season basically as our number one alongside Che. Brogier's been given a chance and he's taken it, and it means that Adam Armstrong's probably sat there kind of trying to prove a point in training now, because I think that's the only way he's possibly going to get back into this other than injury or taking a 10-15 minute cameo at the end and banging in a goal or two.
Yeah, agreed.
Right, moving on to the Saturday evening game, and again, you know, we sat in the pub, we watched this one before you headed off back to Manchester. It was Brighton 1, Manchester City 4.
Yeah, I didn't expect this to go as smoothly for Man City as it did.
No.
They're kind of cruising fairly early on. Foden impressing yet again.
Unbelievable performance.
Becoming increasingly hard to ignore. Yeah. Previously, we've sort of disregarded him because of his minutes, but he's started the last 4 Premier League games, so can't really use that argument anymore. No. So he's got 3 goals, 2 assists, and he's only started 4 games.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and I mean he could have and should have had more, shouldn't
he? Yeah, he could have easily had more. Very talented player, and regardless of the fixtures, if he's in the team, he's going to get points.
Yeah, I think Ferran Torres' injury has probably come at the right time for Foden, because again, he's been given the chance to start basically through the middle, and he's really taken it. Yeah, with those 3 goals and 2 assists, and you know, the likes of Mahrez is on the bench. He came on, got a goal. Obviously, Grealish got an assist there. Bernardo Silva once again was unbelievable, got himself an assist. I think if you're a Man City defensive owner, you're probably incredibly unlucky. Cancelo should have scored. He had a couple of good chances, and yeah, if it wasn't for that penalty, you know, you're looking at quite a tidy clean sheet there. But yeah, when Ederson comes rushing out, didn't really need to take Mwepo out, did he? You know, the ball was going out of play. Silly penalty to give away, and McAllister scored it. Moving on then to the Sunday games, and it was Brentford 1, Leicester 2.
Yeah, and the main frustration for this game, much like the Leeds game, is the substitution of Vardy.
Yeah.
Heavy transfer in the community was Lukaku out, Vardy in.
Yep.
Completely made sense, and we're just a bit unfortunate for him to go off in the first at half time, really.
Yeah.
Darker doing the business again. Obviously, he scored 4 in the Europa League and came on here and got an assist. So I'd love to see what Darker could do if he was starting regularly, because even with the minutes he's had, he's got returns. He's got an assist in this game. He scored against United in 13 minutes.
Yep. He looks
pretty impressive.
He looks a bloody good player. And I think Rodgers has probably got a decision to make, because obviously with Darker, Iheanacho's obviously coming back in form as well, and then with Vardy obviously usually the main man. There's a bit of a decision, and Vardy went off with a knee injury. Sounded like he picked up a knock in the warm up. Kind of thought he was fit enough to start, and by the time half time came round, they had to take him off. So keep an eye on that, because if Vardy does miss out this weekend, could very well see Darker and Iheanacho potentially against that Arsenal team. And then, you know, if Vardy's out again, Leeds after that could be a lovely fixture. But it's just, I think it's a case of knowing which forward is going to play if Vardy is in is tricky, because Darker's done nothing to say to Rodgers, "I deserve to be willing to be benched." You know, he's scored 4 in the Europa League, as you've said. And then yeah, his cameo appearances, he's putting in kind of a performance, even if it is only for 15 minutes. As for Brentford, I think they were unlucky. I think Mbeumo obviously was taken off 57th minute, which is obviously frustrating for owners. Sounds like it was a minor hamstring issue that, taken off precautionary. So fingers crossed he's back for the weekend. But once again, worthy of keeping an eye on those press conferences.
Yeah, definitely. They're still playing very well.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, the Brentford fixtures look incredibly tasty all the way from now, basically through to Boxing Day. And I mean, the only red fixture in there is Man United. And are they really a red fixture? Sorry, United fans. Right, moving on then to the penultimate game of the weekend, and it was West Ham 1, Spurs 0.
I always fancy West Ham in this game. They always seem to play very well against Spurs, and this was another one. Antonio scoring, much to my delight. I think you own him too.
Yeah, I do.
I didn't realize at the time that he actually did a Matrix celebration.
Yeah,
I
it was
thought he
really
was just
weird.
dancing.
No, yeah, it was like the kind of backwards off he goes kind of, yeah. It was good, but yeah, almost 50% owned in the game now. It feels like whenever he returns, there's not a lot of gain to be had, but he's just a player that I'm going to be holding in my squad for the foreseeable. Even with the fixtures, obviously they've got Liverpool, City, and Chelsea in the next 6. I still think Antonio is worthy of a hold because on his day, all he needs is one chance. I think this was his only shot on target in the game, and obviously he put it away. And obviously we do the Sky Pod, but I'm pretty sure he only made like 8 passes in the game, so he was barely involved. But he was right there in the moment, obviously from the Cresswell corner, and yeah, slotted in the winner. And that's kind of what you need as a forward. Plus the fact that he's only 8.1 million, so it's not like we're spunking 11.5 million on him. He's a mid-priced forward that just keeps returning.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it would have to be an injury for me to take him out. I don't think the fixtures is gonna put me off.
No. And as for Spurs, I was listening to this game whilst I was digging me allotment. Yeah, I'm becoming a bit of a farmer now. I live in Dorset, but it sounded like in periods Spurs were kind of up in this game. See, Kane had the opportunity, kind of took a header really well, and it was well saved by Fabianski. And they had their opportunities, but yeah, it almost felt like West Ham perhaps deserved the 1-0 victory at the end, and it's a bit of a knock for Spurs after playing so well for the last 2-3 games. They obviously come up against Man United. I know we keep talking about them, but they play them at home this weekend. And after the performance that United put in, which we'll come on to next, I think Spurs will probably be looking to get at them. And I won't be surprised if Nuno sets up quite attacking just to get at that back line.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. Both managers sort of under some amount of pressure.
Big time, yeah. The home crowd could really make a difference. And then finally, then obviously we've spoken about United enough without touching on this fixture yet. It was Manchester United 0, Liverpool 5.
Yeah, outrageous. Don't know where to start, but it felt all too easy for Liverpool in this game. And that's prior to the sending off of Pogba. They just didn't know how to deal with Liverpool. It's almost like they couldn't even get the ball at times. It was effortless. Keita played very well prior to getting injured. He's been very good recently. Henderson, excellent pass through to Salah.
Yeah, I was going to say, what a ball that was.
Beautiful pass. Couldn't have been any better. Salah just showing what kind of finisher he is. Like, takes a bit of a dodgy touch, but still finishing without a doubt.
Yeah.
That it's going to be hard to captain anyone else this season.
Agreed. I mean, it's that perma captain debate, isn't it? And with the form that he's in, like, yes, we spoke about last week, and I think we discussed it on Twitter a little bit, that I expected Liverpool to win this game, and I expected it to be comfortable, given Man United conceded 4 to Leicester and then conceded 2 to Atlanta and should have been more, but I didn't expect this. And I certainly didn't expect a Salah hat-trick, for instance. Yeah, 1 return, I would have been very happy with it, but to get 3 goals and an assist, obviously 3 bonus. It just sums up how well the man is playing this season. And genuinely, at the moment, I don't think there's a better player in the world on form than Mo Salah. 9 games.
I'd agree with that.
9 games in the Premier League, 10 goals and 6 assists.
It's outrageous. Like when you just look at the history tab on the FPL website, you've just got a sea of goals.
Yeah, it's 107 points. I think it's the 2 players that are less than double what he's got. Other than that, he's more than doubled any other asset in FPL, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, unbeatable.
I can't see where it stops either, other than the fact that he's got to go away for the African Cup of Nations, and annoyingly, looks like he potentially will miss the Brentford Crystal Palace games during that period, which is a little bit frustrating because I think they're again probably prime captaincy. I've seen online there's a bit of a debate about the AFCON and where it's going to be hosted, and they might not have the capabilities, but we'll have to keep an eye on that one, because I can imagine if that's the case, they may well just move it to another African nation. They've done that before, I believe. But I just don't see in the fixtures where we don't captain Mo Salah between now and when he goes to the African Cup, because it's just they don't play Man City, and you probably captain him against any other team other than Man City.
Even Man City,
Yeah.
I think I'd captain him, to be honest.
It's mad, absolutely mad. But yeah, I think perma captain is probably the one, unless we see a real dip in form, and at the moment, that's not the case. Right, should we jump on to how we did this week then, mate?
Yep. So largely down to Mo Salah.
Yeah.
I got 84 points. Rudiger and Livramento both on 9. Antonio on 7, and then that's basically it in terms of returns.
Yeah.
Sees me break out of the 2 million barrier. I'm now 1.97 billion. So it's the third green hour in a row. I'm in the right direction. And I've got Mo Salah to thank.
Good lad, good lad. For me, would you believe I had 16 points after Saturday? I was embarrassed. I was staring at I think it was about 120k red arrow at that point. Everyone around me seemed to have 40 odd points, but I ended up on 91, and that is solely down to the treble up on Liverpool. Obviously, Salah captain, 48 points, Trent's 10, and Robertson 6 there, and with the Antonio return. That was it, like you said, other than Livramento with his 9 points. But yeah, got me 91. Sees me give a 4k red rather than 100k, just down to 26k. So that's not too bad. I did find out before we finish. My brother texted me the other day. He works with the guy that is currently 16th in the world in this game.
Oh, wow. What the hell?
I know. And I looked at the lad's history. It's atrocious for the last 8 years. I think his best finish is about 250k. And yeah,
hey, he might listen to the pod. Don't go too hard on it.
Oh, he'll know. But yeah, it's 16th, and it's unbelievable. His lowest position was game week 1, where he was 14k, and he's just got better and better from then. And yeah, I think he got 112 points last week. So fair play to you. He's absolutely smashing it. So
nice.
I'm going to be keeping an eye, because now I've got a vested interest. Right, I think that pretty much sums up the week. Honestly, don't think there's a lot of point of even discussing captaincy for next week, because for me it's going to be a Mo Salah, even though they're at home to Brighton. Yes, you've probably got Man City as an option if you're holding a Phil Foden, but I'm not going to risk it. Mo Salah for me.
Yep, me too.
Right then. Well, all the best for this week. Fingers crossed we don't get any injuries in the Carabao Cup, and we should be good to go for the weekend. So on that note, James, it is a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Cheers, guys.